Good morning, my dear student. How are you all? I hope you are all well by the grace of Almighty. I'm also well. This is Kashruzzaman from Milestone Preparatory KG School before you. Today, I'm gonna take your English class. My dear student, today's topics are WH question and rearrangements of sentence. So, take your copy and CLP book. My dear student, can you tell me what was your previous lesson? Yes, my dear student, your previous lesson was short composition. What short composition? Yes, a short composition about the Liberation War Museum. My dear student, the name of this short composition may be a field trip or your visit to the Liberation War Museum. So my dear student, have you prepared your lesson? Yes. Okay. Who can tell me what is the Liberation War Museum? Yes, the Liberation War Museum is at Agargaon, Dhaka. Yes, my dear student. Thank you for learning your previous lesson. My dear student, today's lesson is WH questions and rearrangements of sentence. Learning outcomes of today's lesson. Students will be able to make WH questions correctly, recognize the WH words, and rearrange the words to make meaningful sentence. That's why you will be very attentive towards the class. Okay? My dear student, now we'll practice WH questions. So my dear student, already you have known all the rules and regulations of making WH questions in the previous class. Today is revision class. So some of the rules and regulations of making WH question will be discussed today. Okay. So my dear student, we know that for making WH questions, we have to follow some rules and regulations. We have to follow some steps. And the step number 1 is you have to select the WH word at first. So my dear student, so at first we have to select the WH word. So my dear student, and the first step is, what does the underline word indicate? Okay, so here you can see, if the underline word is in the subject, if the underline word is in the subject, then the structure will be like this. Okay, so here you can see, grains give us energy. So look at the underline word at first. So what can you see? The underline word? Yes, grains is the underlined word. And what does the underline word indicate? Yes, this indicates things. So WH word will be what? So my dear student, we know that if the WH word is used instead of the subject, then after writing the WH word, all the words of the sentence will be written after that, and question mark should be given. Okay, this is very easy. So at first write here what, and I have told you that all the rest of the words of the sentence will be written. So give us energy. So write here, give us energy, and at last question mark should be given. Okay, second one, the hare went to sleep. So at first what you have to do, Yes, look at the underlined word. Yes, the underlined word is the here and it indicates person. And we know that if the underlined word indicates person, W's word will be what? Yes, who. And after writing the W's word, all the rest of the sentence will be written, then went to sleep. W-E-A, went to sleep, and question mark should be given.
My dear student, in the first rule we have learned that underlined word will be in the subject, but if the underlined word is any places after the verb, then we have to find out, is there any auxiliary verb in the sentence or not. If the auxiliary verb is in the sentence, then the structure will be like this. Okay, with these two structures, WS question will be made. Okay, so here you can see structure number 2, WS word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus question mark. So here you can see Mr. Rashidul Islam is a banker. I've said you earlier that at first you have to look at the underlined word. Look at the underlined word, a banker. Okay, so what does it indicate? It indicates a profession, and you know that if the underlined word indicate profession, then WS word will be what. So write here what. Then you have to find out, is there any auxiliary verb in the sentence or not. Can you see here? Rashidul, Mr. Rashidul is a banker. So here you can see is an auxiliary verb. So write here auxiliary verb. WS word and auxiliary verb. So what is? Then the subject of the sentence. That means Rashidul Islam. Write here Mr. Rashidul Islam. Rashidul Islam. Then question mark should be given. Okay, my dear student. Second rule. If the underlined word is any places after the verb, and if the auxiliary verb is with the main verb, then the structure will be like this. So WS word at first, then auxiliary verb, then subject, then main verb, then question mark. So here you can see he is writing a letter. So I have said that at first look at the underlined word, and underlined word is a letter. It indicates a thing, and we know that if the underlined word indicates a thing, then WS word will be what. So write here what. What. Then auxiliary verb. So can you see here, is there any auxiliary verb in the sentence? Yes, is an auxiliary verb. So write here is. Then the subject of the sentence. Here you can see he is a subject. So here write here he. So what is he? Then the main verb of the sentence. So here you can see he is auxiliary verb and writing main verb. So write here writing. Then question mark. So write here question mark. So the question is, what is he writing? Okay, my dear student.
So my dear student, now in step number 4 and 5 we'll learn that if there is no auxiliary verb in the sentence, then what we have to do, how we will make the WS question. Okay, so my dear student, if there is no auxiliary verb in the sentence, then we have to bring 3 auxiliary verbs: do, does or did. If the verb is in the first form, then we have to bring did as an auxiliary verb. And if the verb is in the present form, then we have to bring do or does. If is or yes is added with the verb, we have to take does, otherwise do. So first thing you have to remember that if the auxiliary verb is in the first form, then auxiliary verb will be taken did. Okay, so now let's see the first rule. W is what? Did as an auxiliary verb, then subject, then V1, then question mark. So look at the first sentence. My father worked in a fish farm. My father worked in a fish farm. So look at the underlined word at first, in a fish farm. Okay, so here you can see it's indicate a place. So W is what will be what? Yes, W is what will be where. So right here where. Then I have said you that you have to find out is there any auxiliary verb in the sentence or not. Here you can see there is no auxiliary verb in the sentence. Then you have to bring three auxiliary verbs, do, does or did. Then you have to think which one will I take for this sentence. Then you have to look at the verb. Okay, only the look at the verb. If the verb is in the past tense, then you have to take did. So here you can see the verb is in the past form. So right here did. Then what? Where did? Then the subject of the sentence, my father. And you know that instead of my father you have to write your father. Okay, instead of my, pronoun will be your. So your father. So where did your father? Then the present form of the verb. V1 means present form of the verb. Then work. Then question mark should be given. Okay, that means where did your father work? Okay, my dear student. Now look at the next sentence. Shoikut Islam lives in Bagura. So look at the underline word in Bagura. It indicates place. So WS what will be taken? Yes, where. So right here where. Then you have to find out is there any auxiliary verb in the sentence? Yes. Can you see? Yes. No auxiliary verb here. So you have to take do, does or did. Then you have to think which one will I take? Do, does or did? Then look at the verbs. Okay. Here you can see verb is in the present. If the verb is in the present, then you have to take do or does. If the verb is in the present form, then you have to take do or does. If the is or yes is added with the verb, then you have to take does. Otherwise do. So here you can see is added with the verb. So you have to take does. So what does? Then subject Shoikut Islam. Shoikut Islam. Then the V1, that means V1 present form of the verb live, only live will be used here, live. And the question mark at last. So where does Shoikut Islam live? Okay. Now third one. I watch cartoons on TV every day. Okay. So look at the underline word. Underline word is every day. It indicates the time. And we know that if the underlined word indicate time, the WH word will be when. So right here when, write WHEN when. Then you have to see is there any auxiliary verb in the sentence? No auxiliary verb is in the sentence. Then you have to take do or does or did. Then you have to look at the verb. Here you can see verb in the present form and no s or es is added with the verb. So you have to take do as an auxiliary verb. So write here do. When do, then subject of the verb. So subject sentence, subject here I, and you know that instead of I pronoun you have to take you. So when do you, write here you, then main verb of the sentence, that watch, W-A-T-C-H, watch. When do you watch? Then cartoons, okay, C-A-R, cartoons, okay, cartoons on, then TV, okay, and question mark should be given. So the question is, when do you watch cartoons on TV? Okay, my dear student. Next topics, rearrangements of sentences. So my dear student, you know that in the question pattern 12th number question is rearrangements of sentences. There will be some jumble words, and from the jumble words you have to do the meaningful sentence. Okay, so my dear student, if you want to get full marks in this question, then you have to have the full knowledge about the structures of all sentences. We know that according to the meaning, sentences are of 5 types, and they are assertive, interrogative, imperative, optative, and exclamatory. We will learn the structures of these sentences. Structures of assertive sentences I have written here, and if you know the structures of these sentences, then making sentence will be very easy for you. And so be very careful and try to memorize and understand the structures of these sentences. So my dear student, here assertive sentence, structure 1, subject plus verb plus object or extension. Okay, my dear student, so now rearrange the sentence. At first you have to find out the subject from the jumble words. Here you can see watched, Raju, firefighters, the. So you have to think that in subject always noun or pronoun will be written. Always you have to think that in subject noun or pronoun will be written. So if you see in the jumble words that noun or pronoun, then you have to think those words will be subject. Okay, so here you can see watched, verb, Raju, noun, firefighters is also noun, and the. So my dear student, firefighters is a profession. So here you can write here Raju, then verb watched, okay, to observed carefully. So Raju watched, whom? Raju watched whom? The firefighters. The firefighters. Raju watched the firefighters. So my dear student, one thing you have to remember that the first letter of the first word always will be capital letters. So you have to careful for using the punctuation marks. Okay, so next one, structure 2, subject plus do not, does not or did not, verb 1, object or extension. So here you can see does, do, not, or homework, Sami regularly hates. So how will you make the meaningful sentence from these example words? So here you can see Sami, it's a noun. So write here Sami. Sami, then what? Regularly here, does, do, not, homework, that means Sami does not do. Sami does not do what? His homework regularly. Sami does not do his homework regularly. Okay, my dear student, now we learn the structures of interrogative sentence. We know that interrogative sentence is a sentence which asks questions about anything. Okay, so here you can see structure 1, do, does or did, then subject plus main verb plus object or extension, then question marks. So here you can see play, do, sports, any, you. So at first we'll take the auxiliary verb do, then subject you, do you, then the main verb. Here main verb play, do you play, then any sport, and at last question marks. Structure number 2, at first WH word, auxiliary verb, subject or main verb. So here you can see if there is any WH word in the sentence, then you have to think that the sentence will be started with the WH word. So here you can see how. So write at first how. How. Here do you have school go to, that means how, then auxiliary verb do, how do, then subject you, how do you, then main verb go, how do you go, then where, to school, then question mark, how do you go to school. So my dear student, the structures of imperative sentence are like this. At first main verb, do not, never, please or verb, object or at last full stop. You have to remember that in imperative sentence at last full stop should be given. Okay, and interrogative sentence question mark should be given. Assertive sentence full stop should be given at last. So you have to remember. So here you can see a glass water of please give me. So the sentence here you can see in imperative sentence please can be right at the first. So please, then comma, then give me a glass of water. So please give me a glass of water. Okay, my dear student. Then me work late do the. So here if you see the late verb in the sentence, that you will take it at first late, then objective form of the pronoun, that means me, let me, then main verb do, then then work, let me do the work. My dear student, now optative sentence. Optative sentence is a sentence which expresses the speaker's wish, prayer or blessings. So the structures will be like this: may, then subject, verb, object or extension, and at last full stop should be given. Okay, so my dear student, optative sentence is like the assertive sentence, but if you write may before the assertive sentence, then the sentence will be optative sentence. You can see, happy life in may you be. Okay, so here you can see write at first may, then subject you, may you, then be verb, then may you be, then happy in life. This sentence you can write, you may be happy in life, you may be happy in life. So my dear student, you may be happy in life, this is assertive sentence, but if you write may you be happy in life, then it will be optative sentence. Okay, my dear student, now we'll learn the exclamatory sentence. My dear student, exclamatory sentence is a sentence which expresses the speaker's sudden feelings, emotion, surprise, pleasure, delight, sorrow or pain, and the structures are here. You can see, first one, how plus adjective or adverb, then subject plus verb, then exclamation mark should be given. Okay, this is called exclamation mark. Okay, my dear student, so rearrange the sentence. So at first you have to find out the how. Okay, so here you can see how, right here, how, then adjective or adverb, here you can see adjective beautiful, then write beautiful, how beautiful, then the subject, that means the bird, how beautiful the bird, then the verb is, and exclamation sign, how beautiful the bird is. Second one, at first what plus a or an plus adjective or noun, then subject plus verb, and at last exclamation sign. So Canada, a country nice, what is. So the sentence, meaningful sentence will be what, then a nice, then country, Canada, then verb, then exclamation sign. What a nice country Canada is. My dear student, now in feedback, I want to see how much attentive you are in my class. Okay? So my dear student, can you tell me what will be the WS question of this sentence? He slept for an hour. Yes. How long did he sleep. Second one, Raju is a firefighter. Yes. What is Raju? Then the tortoise won the race for his steadiness. Why did the tortoise win the race? Then rearrange. What will be the correct sentence or meaningful sentence? Yes, the here old man is tired. Then last one. Yes. Where do you live? Okay, my dear student, thank you for being attentive in my class. Okay. My dear student, we are at the last session of the class. Now it is time to give you homework. Your homework is 5 WS question and 5 rearrangements of sentence. 5 WS question are: a guide was waiting for us. They took his voyage. I like playing football. They had a small voyage. Shima is at home today. And 5 rearrangements. 1. Clock at look the dresses she makes. You wait, I for will. Is earth around the became they friends. So my dear student, you will do the homework properly and correctly and submit it to your concerned teacher. See you again. Allah Hafiz.